Hello and welcome to Morris Park. I'm Clyde Morris, and today I have a little bit of a dilemma. This cactus here, this mammillaria hahniana, is well over 40 years old. And as you can see, it's got quite the trunk on it here. But last year I noticed that this trunk is kind of becoming discolored. I was kind of worried that something was probably happening with this. And actually it is. It's getting kind of a bad case of rot, actually. And I believe the only way to probably save this is probably cut this top portion off. And I'll show you what's going on here. Now, back in the summer I had a bad case of mealybugs around the base of this plant. Now, a lot of that's just dead tubercles that you can see there, but if I turn this over, you can see it down in there. A lot of mealybugs. And what tipped me off is actually these offsets here. They were looking pretty bad. And I peeled a couple out, and sure enough. Now, the mealybugs, they're actually not alive anymore. They're actually dead. But they weakened the plant so bad that it's just was too much for it, and the whole bottom of this is dying. Now, I'll probably be able to save a couple of things, say like one of these offsets. And if you look, maybe not. I'll have to take a look at this later, but those are the mealybugs right there, but they're all powder dry. None of them are alive anymore. And that's because the systemic actually killed them. Now what I'm going to have to do is cut that big top off. And we're going to do that and see if I can actually save this plant. As I say, I got this back at California Cactus Center well over 40 years ago when I lived in California. And so let's see if we can save this. Okay. I've got a good, clean, sharp knife here. I've already sprayed that off with alcohol. And what I'm going to do is probably try to cut the top off right here. And I think this is probably still alive. But just for curiosity, I'm going to cut it right here just to see what it looks like. Actually, I think we got a good chance here. That is actually pretty green still. And I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. I think it was just this portion down here that was having problems. And something I will do too is kind of make sure. Yeah, all these mealybugs that I'm finding here are just powder dry. They're already dead. So I don't have too much worry there. Now what I may do, I'm not sure, is either try to do it like this or maybe cut it back a little further and get more of a flat head to it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut it back about here and try to get a little farther back. And yes, it's a bit greener. And also, a curious thing, look at this. There's a hole going up through here. I'm not sure what that's from. Now, if you'll notice too, there's a ring of white sap there, much like a euphorbia. And the funny thing about that is there are certain mammillarias that actually do have a white sap. That's similar to like a euphorbia, but not quite as toxic. It is meant as a deterrent, but it's not as bad like a euphorbia where it burns your skin and everything. This here is the top, and that hole goes way up in there, so I'm a little concerned about that. You'll see there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and cut that back some more, because this may be a problem later on with something getting up in there. So I want to make sure I got tissue where that doesn't have a hole. And that hole's still going up in there. You can see there. So that may be a problem. But I think I'm about to the end of it. I'm going to go ahead and cut just one more time right here. And then I think I'm just going to let the remainder dry. Okay. I think I've got right up to the beginning of it. And I'm going to save this section. Looks pretty good. But what I'm going to do now is take and go around here and kind of trim off this excess tissue here, because I know this is going to kind of sink in as it dries. And so I want to give it a little bit of a more tissue there that'll stick into the soil and not just cup up and recede and become concave. I guess concave was the word I was looking for. It's a little bit spiky here. I'm getting a few spines in my fingers. Okay. And there it is. I'm just going to go ahead and let this dry. You can see the beginning of a little hole right there. But I think with drying, that'll probably pull in and be okay. Anyhow, I'll update you about this. We're going to discard the rest of this. And I will wash my hands just in case on this white sap. I don't know that it's to be an irritant or anything as far as the skin or anything, but you might not want to get it in the eyes. It's probably pretty bitter. Anyhow, this is Clyde Morris from Morris Park. I'll keep you updated. And take care.